Oh boy, here we are, Gamecock fans. A conversation I really didn't want to talk about. But after listening to Beamer's press conference today, after listening to Case and Henry talk, after listening to Boaz Stanley talk, I have major concerns about our offensive line. And people ask, Rooster, why do you say that? Communication. Well, let's start with Beamer's comment. Beamer's comment was he doesn't understand some of the words kind of sounded alike or something, but he couldn't figure it. We've been doing this for a couple of years, and guys should know. Well, first and foremost, we know this offensive line hasn't been great for a couple of years. So maybe there is something in the coaching here in the communication of how you're getting the communication to the guys that's an issue. And it's an issue we need to address, but it's an issue that should have already been addressed. If this is something that's gone on for a few years in our offensive line, a lot of it has been the communication and not understanding the play call. Shouldn't we really be concerned about that? I mean, they were talking about the noise, and when Sellers calls the play, not understanding the words that he's saying, that's a problem. That's a major freaking problem. We've been through spring practice, spring game, fall practice, and we're not understanding the play calls. Do we not put music out there while we're doing this? Do we not try to figure out how to make some kind of noise to make sure the guys are understanding the play calls in pressure situations? This is a concern to me, guys. And then from the players' aspect, that's what they're saying. And they're really weren't communicating amongst one another. I if two guys mess up, if three guys, we saw some of this, and we talked about this in another video after the Virginia Tech game, where guys wasn't figuring out who was supposed to block who. And then last week we saw a lot of the same kind of things happening, and the whole O line jumps, but the center doesn't snap the ball. These are all communication things, and they're major concerns to me. Case and Henry is talking about it. Well, having to turn and re-ask, what play did you call? What play did you call? Well, you can't audible if you can't hear. How are you calling an audible at the line if the guys on the O line can't hear what you're calling? Is this overcomplicated? Is it too much verbiage? There's something wrong, and I think we're starting to get to the bottom of it because it's coming out. Between Boaz Stanley's interview, press conference and between what Case and Henry said, the communication just in the message that they're bringing in their conversations with the reporters is not the same. Just I guess there was something in there about some letters and called the communication thing or something. Casey called it one thing. Boaz didn't know what he was talking about. I'm just a bit confused that there's some turmoil in this offensive line room, and it starts with the effing coach. You got players sitting here saying, "Well, we need to play. We got to practice harder." What? Well, you should be out there putting it on the line every day. What do you mean we now got to practice harder? What have we been doing? Are we too soft? Are we not practicing hard? I mean, I'm gonna tell you somebody who has a friend that works as a he works for baseball, for Major League Baseball, and he's into all the training and everything that they do. And they looked at what Nick Saban did with his football teams, and it was unbelievable. He told me you would not believe the training that Saban made Alabama go through, the player, to get ready for a football season. They saw it. They gave it to him. And when I hear this, it's like, I guess we've been sitting back eating the protein shakes, drinking the protein shakes, just giggling, laughing along. Well, we can't communicate. We can't make blocks. Our quarterback's getting sacked and with potential to get hurt. That's what I heard today. Maybe I heard it wrong. If y'all heard anything different than what I just said, y'all please tell me. But this is a major damn issue. Simplify whatever you got to do. Make sure your communication's there. And offensive linemen should always be talking to one another. Always. I, I talked about this in the other video. Even if it's just a simple hand gesture to identify to the guy next to you what they're doing. I don't. I really wanted to feel good about this week against Vanderbilt because I think South Carolina should beat Vanderbilt. But what I don't feel good about is when I hear that. If we just really wasted our fucking whole fall, spring, and everything else, and going into the third game of the season, and we're just figuring out we have a communication problem. How? How is that even possible? This is kind of it's a major concern. It doesn't just not right. Something is not right in that room, and right now I'm telling you, Shane Beamer's got to do something. If he's not sitting in these rooms, he's not understanding, he's not listening to, then Shane Beamer, you need to get your ass in that offensive line room and figure out what's going on in there. At the end of the day, you're the man at the head of the table. But I mean, it to me just made it sound like they're paper soft. They don't talk to one another. They're not communicating well. All we heard during the off season was, well, they've been hanging together. They were working out together. Somebody needs to be the bull in the room. And it sounds like we don't have one. There's no alpha male amongst our offensive line, and maybe that's the problem. You know, we talked about the defensive line, that being kind of like Nick Barrett, the older guy that kind of runs that D line room. It doesn't sound like we have one of those in the O line room. Somebody needs to step up and be that alpha male, because right now there's not one in there. And the communication thing just blows my damn mind. We are paying a coach, well, actually two offensive line coaches between Greg Atkins and Lonnie Teasley to make sure this shit is working right, and it's not. Something's got to change. If we don't see improvement at Vanderbilt, you better slide Sean Elliott in there, because he will be the alpha male in the room. Because it sounds like we are buttery ass soft, coaches included, in that offensive line room. And I don't like to be this about my football team. But y'all gonna get somebody hurt. Whether it's Lenore Sellers, our running backs, somebody's gonna get hurt because y'all ain't doing your job and you ain't communicating. And it starts at the top of that list with Lonnie Teasley. You're the man in charge of that old line room. And if you're letting these kids be soft, it's on you. Oh, I wanted to, this is just some, I read between lines, and this, I'm telling you, we talked about it last week, and I said communication, communication, communication. You could tell it when Virginia Tech's guys was blowing through the line and nobody was putting a good lick on them, that somebody was not communicating. It is not that these kids do not have the physical ability to do their job and block people. This is entirely a communication and a coaching issue. And it needs to be fixed. I don't know. You guys tell me your concerns about it. If you heard the same thing I heard today, whether I'm hearing it wrong or whether I'm dead on. But it sounds like we have some buttery soft ass offensive linemen, and they're supposed to be the nastiest dudes on your team. And it sounds like the coach is just as damn soft, because that's what these kids are soft. We're just gonna practice hard. We just practice harder. Bro. Alright, I'm already mad. I gotta get off of here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Maybe people don't like what I said. I don't know. I may lose subscribers over what I just said. I'm just telling the truth. There's no reason for what's going on. And that today, just listening to that disturbed me even more. That's why I tell you, I love player interviews, because they will give you nuggets that the coaches, perfect coach speak. Players sometimes don't know what to say, so they tell the truth. And this will be Beamer saying, well, I wish we'd have kept that in-house. Why? You don't want the truth getting out? That you got a coach running your offensive line that has no nuts? And he's letting it, dude, I don't blame, you know what? Lenore Sellers playing the way he's played, I can't blame Lenore anymore. He's scared to fucking death he's going to get hurt out there behind this offensive line. I just, anyway, y'all have a wonderful rest of your evening. Peace.